This is the official Company Man 4-year celebration video. Not that there's been an issue with imitators, but I really like the way it sounds when I put in that word official. I have been creating videos on this YouTube channel for exactly 4 years now, which is starting to feel like a long time. I was thinking about how that's the length of a high school or college experience, and then I realized that this is the longest amount of time I have ever spent doing something, which I'm proud to say because I do feel like I've been doing something meaningful here. I think I came up with a good word to describe my experience over these last 4 years. The word is amplified. For just about any emotion, happy, sad, proud, embarrassed, nervous, relieved, all of them are really intense when it comes to this channel. It's tough to have something that you care about so much be constantly fluctuating. People respond to every video differently, and I never know how it's gonna go. Overall, I've never done it myself, but I imagine it feels like running a marathon. It's definitely not easy or relaxing or anything like that, nor would I want to do it forever, but it is incredibly rewarding, and I think it'll be something that I can always look back on and be proud of. I hope that all came out right. It's hard to put it into words. Now, we need to take a look back at year 4 because, holy cow, things have officially gotten bigger than I've ever expected. Here's the graph I made for my year 3 celebration video showing how many subscribers the channel has gained in each of its 3 years. Well, I've updated the graph to reflect the fact that year 4 has by far been the biggest year. These numbers are so big I can't really comprehend them. There are 330,000 people that are now part of the channel that were not here when I made that video just 1 year ago, which turns out is close to the population of Corpus Christi, Texas. Now, I feel like it's unlikely that all of those new subscribers actually live in Corpus Christi, Texas, but it's possible. Over the last year, there have been 54 new videos on this channel, probably part of why this feels like running a marathon. There was a new video every Wednesday with 2 additional videos I made about Chuck E. Cheese's and Fry's Electronics in response to some big news about them. And that Chuck E. Cheese's video had an insane response. It was the most activity that this channel had ever seen, and probably the main reason that year 4 was so big. It was on the YouTube trending list. It's already my 2nd most popular video, and I'm really happy about this. It also has more likes than any other video I've ever made. You know, I actually want to talk about that for a second. When you look back at everything I've made on this channel, you'll see that I've never asked you to like a video. I just feel like it's annoying when people do it and you can make your own decisions there. Plus, I use that ratio to actually gauge how much people actually like the video. I just discovered that YouTube keeps track of this, but it turns out that the like to dislike ratio has been getting better every year, which I take to mean that either the community here is getting kinder and more loyal, or the videos are getting better, and either way, that is good news. Alright, enough about the past now. Let's talk about the future for a minute. For the immediate future, it's become a tradition that for the first video released after this anniversary video, I put out something that I made a long time ago. I always seem to have videos from years ago that, for whatever reason, just never went out. It's an excuse to get them out there, plus I think it's a cool way to look back at how the channel has changed. So for the next video that you see on this channel, it was made in March of 2019, and it's actually going to be released later today because this anniversary happens to be on a Wednesday when I normally release videos, meaning for the first time, and potentially the only time until 2027 anyway, that's 2 videos in 1 day. And then looking further into the future, I really don't know. I wish I did. I can't even imagine what 2027 is going to look like, but I can say that the overall plan has yet to change. Personally, I'd like to see a new video on this channel every week straight through to year 5 and maybe beyond, and hopefully you'll continue to help make that happen. So thank you to everybody that's helped get us this far by watching or commenting or being part of this channel in any way, really. And if you're watching this video, I imagine you've been one of the most supportive, and I really do appreciate it. I'm excited to see what year 5 is going to look like. So there we have it. That's about everything I wanted to say for the big 4-year celebration. For the rest of the video, I went on the community tab and asked if you had any questions to potentially be answered in this video, so here are some of the ones that I picked to answer. What company do you want to do a piece on? What was your least favorite video? Well, there's nothing I want to cover specifically at the moment because whenever that happens, I just end up making it. I guess the most recent example of that would be that Chef Boyardee video that I made a few weeks ago. I thought that was a great lesser known story and I was happy to be the one to let people know know about it. As far as my least favorite video, I was looking through the titles, and the only ones that I'm not really proud of were some of the ones from the first year. Specifically, these two were pretty sketchy. I've thought about getting rid of them, but I guess it's all part of the evolution of the channel. What was your favorite video you made, and why? Overall, I still really like that Bernie Madoff video. He actually died about a month ago. But as far as over the past year, I'm thinking about that recent Dr. Pepper video. Everyone focuses on Coke and Pepsi, so I feel like the Dr. Pepper story is a great one that gets overshadowed. Much like that Chef Boyardee video, I'm always trying to find these hidden gem type stories that the audience probably wouldn't hear about otherwise. What were you thinking when you started this channel? How did you come up with the idea, and did you ever think this would end up being as successful as it's become? The idea for it did come from Kmart. I know how Reed Hastings likes to tell this exaggerated story about how a bad experience at Blockbuster gave him the idea for Netflix. Well, the idea for this channel really did come from a bad experience at Kmart. Simply put, I recognized how much they had declined and thought it'd be interesting to make a video talking about it. Plus, I was already looking for an idea for a YouTube channel, so everything just came together. And then, did I ever think things would get this successful? The answer is no. I never thought it would get to this level, but I did always believe in the channel. I at least knew that if I kept working at it and stayed consistent, that things would at least keep moving in the right direction. I do have a question. Have you ever had a company, big or small, reach out to you to talk about them, and or have you ever been compensated/threatened by companies you've reviewed? The answer to all of that is pretty much no. Some smaller companies have offered me money to talk about them, but I feel like that would compromise the videos, so I've never entertained anything like that. As far as being threatened, that hasn't been an issue. I don't think they'd have any legal ground there, as long as I keep the videos accurate. And I feel like I'm pretty fair towards the companies. I don't really know of any that would have much reason to threaten me. I have a question. How did you decide which company logos to include in your intro? That is a good question, because embarrassingly, I've not even thought about that until right now. When I made my original intro 4 years ago, I was incredibly busy. All within a few days, I created that Kmart video. I actually had to re-edit it because I was having computer troubles as well. I started working on other videos because I knew I was going to need them quickly. I created the channel itself, including the logo and everything to go along with that, all while still trying to learn how to use the software. So honestly, I didn't put much thought into creating the intro. The logos were whatever popped into my head that happened to fit into the right spot. Then, I think it was about 10 videos in, a viewer took it upon himself to make a much better version of my intro, and that's the one I've been using ever since. So for that one, it appears that he used the ones that I originally used and then added logos from those first 10 or so videos. So the answer is there's not much reason behind them, but that's where they came from. Do you ever lose motivation? If yes, how do you deal with it? I lose motivation just about every week. It can be very difficult getting started on a new video almost immediately after finishing that whole process for the last video. So if I don't have a good idea in my mind for it, it's tough. But once I do get started, I always start learning some cool facts and connecting the dots between them. It becomes like a puzzle fitting the different pieces together. So I guess at that point, I'm motivated by the story itself, and oftentimes it's hard to stop working on it until it's finished. This question here is asking how I decide whether or not I leave out various controversies from the companies that I talk about. I have had so much trouble trying to figure out how to handle that. Personally, I feel like I should only talk about them if they relate to the video in some way. If they contributed to the decline, or of course if the whole video is about scandals, but then a lot of people have disagreed with me on that. Some examples of that would be my videos about Zoom and Chiquita. Even though I didn't really feel like the scandals fit into the video, I got a lot of backlash for not addressing them. So I don't know the answer. Most of the companies I talk about have had scandals. I want to be sensitive, but I don't want that to be the new direction of the channel. I don't think there's much of a science to it. At this point, I just look at it on a case-by-case basis and hope for the best. Why do you focus so much on American companies? Like 90% of the companies you talk about don't even exist outside of the US. I feel like that's a high estimate, but a fair question. The simple answer is that I am from America, and so is most of my audience. I don't think it needs more explanation. I do feel for you if you're a viewer of the channel from somewhere else, but it just doesn't make sense for me to talk about companies from your area. Alright, that's enough of the questions for now. I'm not much of a question and answer person, but it's a cool part to have to these anniversary videos. So, to finish up this big celebration, let me know in the comments, I guess just any thoughts you have about the channel. When did you discover it? How has it changed since? What made you continue watching it? As I always do with these anniversary videos, I'm going to be reading pretty much every comment, so anything you write, I can almost guarantee that I will see it. And if you want any other questions answered, I will do my best to reply to those comments. I want to say one more time before I end the video, thank you everybody. You have helped keep this channel running for 4 years now, and I think that's incredible. I want us to all do our best to keep it running through year 5 and hopefully make it just as special as these first 4 have been. I mean, 5 years on YouTube yet, that would be pretty amazing. So any thoughts you have about the past, present, or future of this channel, leave them in the comments. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Thank you for watching.